What's up, my fellow proletariat? This is Jordan. You're watching The Communist Carpenter, and today I'm making a call to action for all working class people in the United States, at least, and all over the world. But I'm going to be speaking specifically of the working conditions in the United States because that's what I know. I don't know what working in London is like. I don't know what working in Bangladesh is like. I don't know what working in China is like. So I'm not going to speak on that. But if you are being exploited in any of those countries, which we do live in a capitalist ruled world, so it is likely that you are exploited, then this video is for you. So as working class people, as proletariat, we need to be making demands, because as it stands, shit's really hard. Life is really hard with the current conditions that most of us face. And we need to be allowed, we need to be given the conditions and the opportunities to live our lives and not just go to work for the majority of our lives and then be busy with other shit when we're not working, because we're working so much that when we're not working we have to go run errands and shit and not be able to spend any time with our friends, families, or other loved ones. So I'm making 3 demands, and I suggest all my fellow working class people make these demands as well. Talk to your coworkers, talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to the fucking dude sitting next to you on a bench. Talk to your neighbor and find a way to get this message across to them. So the first demand is a living wage, a higher minimum wage, and the continuous upkeep of said minimum wage. So back in the 1970s, minimum wage was $1.60. That doesn't sound like a lot, but if you adjust for inflation, today, that would be the equivalent of $11 and change. So back in the 70s, people were making more money than they would be making today. Also, since the 1970s, productivity in the workplace here in the United States has gone up by 400%. So people are literally working 4 times harder for less money. That's fucking bullshit, because most people can hardly afford rent. They definitely cannot afford to buy a home. They can't afford health care. A lot of people don't know where their next meal is coming from. They can't afford their medicine. Now, a lot of those things like housing and medicine are other topics in and of themselves. There's a lot of fuckery going around with those topics too, but I'm gonna keep it more short-sighted, for lack of a better word, and just focus on minimum wage and these other demands. So I suggest that we demand for a $30 minimum wage. I know that sounds like a lot. I know it sounds like a lot, but please hear me out. In some Scandinavian country, I don't remember what it is, Denmark or some shit like that, the McDonald's employees make $22 an hour. And do you know how much more their hamburgers cost compared to the United States? 26 cents. So no, you would not have to pay for a $15 hamburger if the minimum wage went up. That's not how it works. So, being in the richest country in the world, the United States, we can absolutely afford to provide such a wage to all minimum wage employees here in the United States. It is a perfectly livable wage. It's reasonable. It is reasonable. What is unreasonable is anything less than that. Living on $7.25 an hour is impossible by yourself. You cannot afford in any city in the United States to rent a house, an apartment, a condo, a townhome, anything. You would literally have to rent an individual room with other people who share the total rent with you. You would have to have roommates. You would not be able to afford anything unless you had other people also who had income. Now, that's bullshit. If someone works a full-time job, they should have their own space if they want. They should be able to afford that, but they can't. So, $30 minimum wage, demand number one. Demand number two, less hours of work per day. Instead of an 8-hour workday, a 6-hour workday. Now, that would benefit people, or companies, I should say, and people. It would benefit a company in the sense that as work drags on, people become more and more tired and exhausted and mentally foggy. Surprise, surprise. The more you consistently do a boring, tedious, laborious job, the more exhausted and probably the shittier job that you do. Like, if I go to Chipotle or something, like right before it closes and people are crabby at me and shit, I'm not going to blame them because they've probably been there all day and they still have to spend like an hour afterward cleaning shit and putting food away and all this. Like, working those kinds of jobs is not easy. I don't care what job you have, but it's not easy. As a matter of fact, with minimum wage, everyone should make a good amount of money. I'm not saying that doctors need to be paid minimum wage because they save lives and they push science to a higher level and shit. So, yeah, they should make more money. But that doesn't mean everybody else who doesn't have a job like that shouldn't be allowed to make enough money to live their life. Now, this next demand, the second one, 6-hour workdays, is a demand, again, that will allow people to live their life. If you're working 8 hours a day, you get home and you're tired because you've been at work all day, pretty much all fucking day. The best hours of the day you spend working for someone else. And that's fucking bullshit. If people had an extra 2 hours, they could spend time with their kids, or spend time having a great conversation with their significant other, or doing something that they love, or making healthy food, or going to the gym, or walking their dog, or learning to play an instrument, something that enriches their life and the lives of the people around them. So, yeah, having a 6-hour workday would be great. The last demand kind of ties in with the second one, is a 4-day work week. That's right, even less work, because you shouldn't spend the majority of your life working. Now, I don't know about you, but I spend 5 days a week working, sometimes 6 if I need to work on a weekend, often more than 8 hours a day. And on the weekend, or whatever days I get off, I expect to be able to spend it with my family, to do things I enjoy, to relax, to read a book. But oftentimes, I can't. At least not have it be as truly relaxing and leisurely as I'd hope, because I need to go run errands on the weekend, because there's no time for it during the weekday, because I'm working. So, I get home and I'm tired as fuck and I need to help make dinner, and I play with my son a little bit and then go to bed and then do it all again the next day. Now, when the weekend comes, I need to go get groceries or get an oil change or go pick up some school supplies, or there's always something to do that you couldn't do on a weekday because you were working. Now, if you had a 6-hour workday, you could maybe get some of those things done and then truly enjoy your 3-day weekend, your 3 days off. Or you could take one of those 3 days and go and do that shit, and then enjoy the other 2 days. But the point of having time off of work is to be able to enjoy it, to be able to decompress, and not be so fucking stressed that I really have to enjoy my Saturday, because when Sunday comes, I know that I'm going to have to work the next day, and I'm just not going to want to relax because I know I have to go to work and I have to go to bed early and this and that. And so yes, these are my demands as a working class person, and I advocate, or I invite all of you to make these your demands as well. Because if they are the demands of the majority of the working class people here in the United States, then they cannot deny it to us. They cannot. Because if we don't work for them, they don't make money. You are the one who makes a rich motherfucker rich. Not him or her. They do not make themselves rich. They hire you to do the work for them, and then they take the majority of the value that you have produced through your labor. So I know that these demands might sound unreasonable, and they are not a permanent fix. This is not the end-all be-all. This is another step in the direction that this world should go. Now, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't fight for these improvements in all of our lives. As working class people, we need to band together and fight for these things that will help change our lives. And the thing is, even if we implement all this shit, the business owners, the ruling class, the billionaires, even millionaires, will still probably be billionaires and millionaires. It's not going to break the bank for them to do this, because they take that much fucking money from you. They steal that much labor value from you. So they owe you. They owe me. They owe all working class people a life. So that's pretty much it. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, talk to your co-workers, and let's get this shit done. Start a union where you work. And it doesn't have to be $30 an hour immediately. Fucking start small if you want. Go to say, hey, we want $15 an hour. And learn how to unionize with your fellow employees. Anyways, that's it. In solidarity, y'all. See you next time.